Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, everywhere. Thank you for joining the webinar today. We are glad that so many people are joining from all over the world, and I think more are coming in. My name is Inji Nafi, and I'm representing the Research in Germany initiative executed by the German Academic Exchange Service and funded by the Federal Ministry of Research, Technology, and Space, and will be today's moderator. In the background, my colleague Jana Schröder will be assisting with the Q&A box and with the Q&A moderation and technical support. And I will also provide you later on with an overview of Germany's funding system. Today, we're hosting the 8th episode of our event series, Meet Your Future You. Our research shows that one of the most effective ways to share information is through individuals who have already navigated this journey and can provide first-hand insights into both the advantages and challenges from an international perspective. And today, for a second time in our series, we're focusing on women in science. And we will discuss common challenges female scientists face and present funding and career opportunities offered in Germany. For this reason, we are very fortunate to have two experienced researchers with us today who have successfully established themselves in Germany. Rana and Lynn are both awarded winners of the For Women in Science program, who have kindly agreed to share their journey and answer our questions. We have also invited two representatives of the German Commission for UNESCO who are going to introduce the For Women in Science program by UNESCO and the Foundation L'Oréal. This format will continue to evolve based on your preferences, and we plan to organize more topic and regional focus online events. Therefore, your feedback at the end of today's session will be highly valuable. I'll remind you at the end again about that and tell you more how to do so. But before we get started, and to ensure a smooth and interactive session, I'd like to quickly familiarize you with the key features of WebEx webinars. Here is a brief overview. For questions that you would like to address during the Q&A session, please use the Q&A box only. You will find here an S if you're joining us through the webcast, and I think on the very right-hand side, you'll also find the S if you're joining us from the WebEx app. And here you can just click on it, write your question, and please, if you have a question for a specific speaker, feel free to write their names and mentioning them, because they can either directly answer it via chat, or we will be able to address it at the end during our Q&A session. Yes, and the chat box is to be used only for technical issues. I think this is also very common for you. And as mentioned and agreed upon during the registration process, we are recording this event. And the recording will be accessible on our website to all participants after the session. We think by mid next week, as well as the presentations. So let's move to our agenda. First, we will begin our presentation about Germany's research funding system, followed by Dr. Regabani Fatma and Lynn and Rana's contribution. And through presentations and interviews, we have a little bit of mix. We have designed a well-structured program including an institutional perspective from Dr. Fatma and two presentations by researchers who will take you along their process towards funding. At the end, there will be plenty of time for your questions during the Q&A session. And please remember that today's focus is solely on women in science. Yes, and as you know, what to expect from today's session, we would like to get to know you a little bit more, and dear audience, and to know who's with us today. So I will just start with a small poll, and I will stop sharing my screen, and we will test. polling system. I think you should be able to see it. And let's start with our first question. What is your current academic level? You can start putting your votes now. I think we have a slight delay in our online webcast, but I think now you can see it. Okay, so the majority are postdocs. That's very nice. Let's wait for a little bit more votes. You have 20 seconds. You will find the poll in the S. If you click on the S, if you're joining us through the webcast, there's this S symbol, like the one here. It's next to the chat button, and then you can find the poll that is online. Okay. I think we have a picture, so the majorities are postdocs indeed. Let's go to the next question and ask you which discipline in which discipline you are at the moment. We have agriculture, art, music, museum, economics, sciences and law, engineering sciences, humanities, but I can see the winners so far are mathematics, natural sciences. Ah, medicine is catching up. Okay, so I see mathematics and natural sciences are winning. Perfect. Then we will move to the next question, which is in which country you are at the moment. So you can just type in where you are in the world, Egypt, Germany, Belgium. I think someone just wrote hello from Jakarta a couple of moments ago. Nepal, South Africa. Oh, so many are actually in Germany at the moment. India, wow, it's pretty late. Indonesia, very nice. US, very early. Okay, we can jump to the next question. At what stage do you think support for women in science is most crucial? This is maybe to warm up to today's topic. We're not asking about the countries anymore. We're focusing now on what you think, what stage do you think support for women in science is most crucial? So maybe write a couple of ideas. Okay. All stages, yeah, fair enough. Wow, okay. Hmm. Very interesting insights. Coachings, yeah. And to start from high school, yeah, that's for sure. To encourage from the early stages. I get that. Okay, let's move to our final question for this first part. What do you see as the biggest challenge for women in academia today? So maybe you're already in that situation. What? All stages again? Okay. Yeah, it's a challenging surrounding for sure. What do you think is the biggest one, at least for now, or for you, or challenges that you're facing? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's there are multiple challenges for sure. Yeah, work-life balance is for sure a big thing. I think it's very inspiring just to know what everyone is facing and to maybe see that many people are facing similar challenges. This is sometimes also a good to know thing. But I think today, that's the beauty of today, that we have really impressive ladies with us today, very well established, who will share their experience, and maybe you will get, or we hope that you'll get one insight to one or the other topic. But I think I read funding opportunities. I think this is a perfect link to my next topic, and I will stop sharing. But feel free to continue writing down the challenges that you're facing. And maybe today we'll have the opportunity to solve or give you tips on how to maneuver or how to work on these challenges. So I will share my screen once again. And we will start with the German research funding system and giving you a little bit of insights to where or how you can find some information. We try to also make it focus a little bit more on women, in order for you to yeah, maybe the one or the other opportunity would help you. So let's take a look at the German funding organize some of Germany's funding organization, key research funding programs, and relevant policies, and to find out the different types that there are, because funding is really very diverse. But before we get into that, I would like to maybe start with a couple of good reasons why doing research in Germany can be beneficial for you. First of all, you would have access to innovative research infrastructures and resources, because Germany offers excellent research infrastructures, including accelerator systems, telescopes, research vessels, supercomputers, and many other facilities that you can for sure profit from. Um, you have opportunities for free and creative development, as it's determined by law. The freedom of research, this is a very important part of Germany's research and studying system. The next topic is, or the next reason is, are the generous funding opportunities and a stable R&D policy framework, and we will get more into that in the coming slides. You have also a large scope for international and interdisciplinary networking. Germany is in the heart of Europe, and you have many connections throughout the landscape, and yes, and therefore lots of opportunities. And last but not least, focus on social and ecological responsibilities, as Germany's research and innovation prioritize social and ecological responsibility, which helps to improve social performance across the globe. And international researchers can contribute to this by collaborating on projects that address ecological, economical, and social targets. Perfect. So let's jump into some funding organizations and Germany has really a wide range of funding systems with various areas. And here I'd like to share or highlight a couple of them. First of all, the DFG, which is the largest funder of research at higher education institutions and non-university research institutions in Germany, with an annual funding volume of almost 4 billion euros in 2023. Next comes the DAD, the German Academic Exchange Service, which is the world's largest funding organization for international students and academic exchange. Another very or internationally renowned funding institution is the Alexander von Humboldt Foundation, which which gives funding for outstanding individuals. And of course, we have, on the other hand, non-university research institutions that do not only conduct research but also provide funding and support for PhD students and academics with scholarships and employment contracts. And there are also public and private foundation awards that award individuals scholarships with different areas of focus. So these are just a couple of examples to a very wide range. And there are many good reasons, again, to pursue a research career in Germany. And one important factor is funding. As I mentioned before, Germany aims to international students not as source of income, but to enhance the international profile and diversity of its higher education system. For this reason, public universities in Germany do not charge tuition fees for doctoral studies for at least the first 6 semesters. Living in Germany itself is relatively affordable. Though Germany is a highly developed industrialized country, meaning the cost of living may be higher than in some other countries, but the everyday expenses and rent remain relatively low by comparison with many other nations. However, it's worth mentioning that rent has increased significantly in the past years. And it is estimated that that a student will need on average 1,000 and about 1,200 euros per month to cover costs of rent, food, clothing, etc., and the semester contribution as well as health insurance. There is also an important thing, which is the proof of funding. In order to obtain a visa or a residence permit, international students or researchers must prove that they have funding equivalent to the current BAföG. It's a set rate by the government, which is currently at 992 euros per month. Maybe you've heard of it, these kind of Sperrkonto that you need to prepare. But if you have a scholarship or another funding opportunity, this does not apply to you. That would be your proof of funding. And there are different types or various types of funding available for international researchers in Germany. First of all, scholarships, research grants, research fellowships, and employment. And we will present these in more detail. So, starting with scholarships, scholarship provides financial support for students and are offered by institutions such as the DAAD, foundations, and nonprofit organizations. They have a typical duration of 1 to 3 years for a PhD with possible extension. And they are often merit-based with focus areas. So you need to check how the scholarships are and what they entail in order to apply for them. Well, I'll give you also a little bit of examples. But let's come to the next one, research grants. They enable scientists and scholars to undertake a research project on a defined subject within a limited period of time. And they support specific research projects, either initiated by the researcher or funded within established projects. And the research grants are provided by funding institutions and nonprofit organizations, or, for instance, also the European Union programs. Next are the research fellowships. They are usually individual fellowships and fund an academic research position at a university or similar research institution. And they are offered by institutions such as Alexander von Humboldt Foundation or the EU, as I mentioned before, like funding from the Marie Curie actions, or from the GFG, like the Eminota program. These are a couple of examples. And they provide funding for independent research, often with international mobility options. Another option would be through an employment, which involves a contract as a research assistant or research associate at a university or a non-university research institution, and they are often opportunities for paid doctoral positions in research training groups or other structured programs. And they are intended for PhD candidates, postdoc researchers, as in research assistants, which can be a part-time or full-time if you're working on your thesis, for instance. It also intends for postdocs with further qualifications like junior professors or professor or research group leaders. Yes. At a public university or publicly funded research institutes, it includes a salary and benefits based mostly on the German public sector scales. So professors are able to know there is a specific table where you can see exactly in which range you are, and that is set. And of course, you can work at a company in research and development, usually as part-time or temporary contacts that allows doctoral researchers, for instance, to be pursued, or that they can be working on a specific topic together with the university and still working at a company in R&D. So this is again a different or another further type of funding. And where can you find different funding opportunities? You can find them on the DAD scholarship database. This is one of the most important tools for international students and researchers who are interested in studying, teaching, or conducting research in Germany. And it provides an overview not only about scholarships or grants funded by the DAD, but also from other esteemed institutions. And here there are some programs that are open for specific countries. So it's very important to choose the right filter at where you are doing your studies, in which discipline, and from which country you are. I'd like to just give a couple of examples for you to get to know. First of all, the DAD research grants. This DAD scholarship program offers you the opportunity to complete your doctorate degree in Germany, and the program provides funding for a doctoral project at a state or state-recognized institution of higher education or non-university research institute in Germany. And this can either be in an individual project supervised by a university teacher or doctoral supervisor, or participation in a structured doctoral study program. And the funding is provided for a maximum of 4 years, and with a monthly payment of about 1,300 euros, as well as other benefits and travel allowances, and again, an annual research allowance. So every program has its requirements, has its duration, has its funding value that comes in different shapes and colors. So it's very important to take a closer look at these programs. Here is another one from the Max Planck Society, a non-university research institution. And they also offer multiple types of funding. And here in this case, it's a work contract. Again, one of the examples that I mentioned before. You can find all the details about that on the DAD scholarship database. But we also gathered a couple that are women specific, and here we have put together three examples of monthly grants for about 400 to 500 euros, which are intended to relieve female scientists with care work. These grants can therefore be used to finance assistance in domestic tasks and additional childcare. And these programs are generally aimed at PhD students and postdoctoral researchers at least for between 6 and 12 months. So you can take a closer look at them. And here is like one example on how it works, and it's again a monthly grant. The Katrin Nusslein Vorhalt Fund from the Katrin Nusslein Vorhalt Foundation. These following programs are offered by the quality offices of German universities. They are usually funded by the state and only awarded to researchers who hold a position at a university in the respective state. This list is just some examples that we wanted to share, and we recommend for sure to take a look or check out the options at the quality offices of your university of interest and what they offer. Again, these are just examples, but again, you can see that there are many options within the universities as well. Yes, and here are also tenure track programs that aim to increase the amount of female professors with tenure positions at universities by supporting female researchers with the required resources. And here, this is also one example on how this, on one program, the Pro Chance from Pro Chance Career offered at the University of Vienna. And again, just I would advise you to take a look at the program and see if it might fit you and if it would work for you. Yes, I think you can have a little bit more time to take a look at them in detail. Here are some others funded by research institutions and non-governmental research institutions, again, focusing on women and supporting women. And what we'd like to also mention are different awards. We also recommend checking the calls for applications for funding awards, as grants in the 5-figure ranges may be awarded. And we're very happy today to have two representatives from the UNESCO who will share with you more details about the For Women in Science award. If you still at the beginning or at the beginning of your research stage and still do not know how PhD in Germany looks like, I would recommend you to take a look at the PhD Pathfinder. This is one way to understand how PhD works in Germany. But also, if you're looking for positions, we have this DAD PhD in Germany database where universities share with us, or they share open positions for PhD, and maybe you can find also one that is suitable for you. And some further tips on where to get more information, for sure on our website. We always share upcoming calls and events on our website. Here on the right hand side, you can see also the PhD database, and we share different information on many other things. I would also advise you to follow us on social media. We also always have our Funding Friday, where we share open positions at the moment from research institutions and universities. So follow us, and then you'll get more information, as well as subscribe to our newsletter, because every month we have a collection of open or current calls specifically to funding and upcoming events or information sessions that can help you. Speaking of information sessions, also stay tuned at our two series. Today we're at the Meet Your Future You series, but we also conduct Find Your Future research destinations, where we have research institutions that give insights. And I would also definitely advise you to take a look at previous events. Maybe you can find more information. We also have from last year's Women in Science, with also extraordinary speakers that joined us last year. Maybe you'll also get one tip or another. And we have multiple brochures to understand the research system in Germany, so you can find that on our website as well. Here are some final important links for you. The PhD Germany.de, Eurexis.de, they have also multiple open positions as well as academics. And here are again further databases that can help you find or navigate throughout the research system in Germany. And thank you very much for your attention. And you can address us at any time on our research in Germany at dad.de. And here is the QR code for our sessions or for our website. So I will stop sharing my screen. And I'm very happy to hand over to Fatma, who will share with us a little bit more details on the program for women in science. Fatma, are you there?
Thank you, Inji. I'm
Yes,
there. Can you hear
the floor
me?
is yours. Yes, we can hear
Oh,
you very
thank you.
well.
Yeah, I would like to thank you for the opportunity to be here and present this program. And I will maybe start by sharing my screen.
Perfect.
Oh, see, did
Yes.
that work well?
Yes, we see everything perfectly.
Perfect. Okay. So, again, a very warm welcome also from my side. My name is Fatma Ribijani. I'm working with the German Commission for UNESCO as a program specialist science, and I'm very happy to be here and present one of my favorite projects I'm working with, together with also our two of our wonderful laureates of last year, Line and Rana, and yeah, and I will start maybe with telling you a bit about the.
Now we can see your notes.
No, no. Okay, I will.
Maybe you can stop sharing the screen and
Mhm.
choose the other
I
format.
did. Yeah, let's try
Yeah.
again. All these technical issues. We have three screens now. I hope you
Yes.
see the right one.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Perfect.
So, um, the strategy behind this award is actually it is embedded in a global initiative that UNESCO and the L'Oréal Foundation initiated almost 30 years ago to promote gender equality and strengthen women's roles in scientific research worldwide and address the still persistent underrepresentation of women in STEM fields. And the core mission is to recognize excellence among female scientists while also dismantling barriers that do exist and hinder the academic growth of women. And there are two parts of the global initiative. One is the so-called Lifetime Achievement Awards to create, as we call it, novel visibility. These are really awards for outstanding scientists who have shaped their fields of science and really made huge progress and achieved, really a great deal of scientific excellence. And plus, we do also have more than 250 early career researcher awards in the global program and also in more than in 50 national programs. And one of these national programs is the one in Germany, which I will be talking about today. It was established in 2007, and it supports early career researchers across STEM sciences. And as we had the Slido, I was quite happy to see that actually today we do have many participants from mathematics, from health science, from medicine, and from sciences. So this is the audience that also the prize is aiming at. And it is a very strong and stable and good working partnership between the German Commission for UNESCO, the German Humboldt Network, which is the academic partner in the partnership, and L'Oréal Germany. And as I said, the target group is early career researchers working at a research institution in Germany. This is the main criterion, actually, that you have to be already working in Germany, while the nationality of the applicant is not relevant at all. We do give this award in an annual cycle. The application has just closed last month. It's usually the call goes out early January, and then you have a 6 to 8 weeks period for the application process. The selection takes place in May or June, and then the award ceremony is always around mid-September. We do use diverse communication channels to promote the program and to connect with women researchers. The selection is based on mainly and almost only on research excellence, which is based on the examination of the past research, but also on the prospect a bit. So this is something I'm now a bit cautious, because the evaluation by is done by scientist members of the German Humboldt Network. We are organizing it. We are, of course, accompanying the program, but in the selection process, it is an expert committee that is doing the selection. What I would like to really point out here is that the German program aims to give a strategic support to, to give a flexible financial support. And flexible means you're relatively free to use the award money. I'm sorry, I'm having a background. I don't know if you hear it. You're relatively free to use the money flexibly over a certain period, suited to the personal and research needs for purposes that the researchers define themselves and which support their career best. And it creates also a public visibility in a very critical career phase. And we just had the questions in the beginning, on which stage you think is most critical. And we do believe that this career phase after the PhD is quite important, because these are the critical years in which your scientific rigor, your excellence, your potential are reaching a new development stage, while at the same time, in particular for women, other life decisions such as union formation or family formation might take place as well. So this is what we're aiming at, to cover this phase in life and in career. Let me say a few words on the reception and the reach of the program. We do have hundreds of applications of early career scientists every year, working at the most distinguished German research institutions, as the big universities, Max Planck or Fraunhofer institutes. The award ceremonies are always very prestigious. Let me see. And at very prestigious venues with high-level speakers, much press, and also influencer coverage. This picture here was taken at the award ceremony in 2022 in the French embassy in Berlin. We have the ambassador, we have the representatives from the German Commission and L'Oréal, but most importantly, we have our laureates in the center. And the prize really gives you a global recognition. Visibility, recognition, and media coverage is global because the program is embedded in this global program, which is present in 140 countries. And this visibility is something that is important to, you know, recognize the achievements and also to honor them, which I will talk about a bit later too. Some statistics on the applicants and laureates. We have a great geographical diversity. We have applicants from across Europe, of course, but also from Asia, the Americas, from Africa and the Middle East. We do have all kinds of STEM fields, and these are always fields in which, you know, long lab working days are required. We have in Germany up to now 57 laureates. Most of them have advanced highly successfully in the science system in Germany. We have made kind of a field research 2 years ago and have seen that many of them actually have really succeeded in the German science system. Some have left Germany and moved on in other science systems, which is absolutely okay. And when you look at the international program, we have over 4,400 laureates. And out of these, we have 7 Nobel laureates who later were awarded the Nobel Award. So that shows that the program is really effective in rewarding and advancing scientific excellence. Yeah, let me maybe finish with the most specific traits of the programs. What makes For Women in Science stand out? The endowment is relatively high, I would say, with 25,000 euros for 4 laureates. The extensive flexibility, the funds can be almost freely spent for equipment or travel or childcare or domestic help in order to make it possible to work long hours in the lab. Because as we know, we do have quite a good childcare system in Germany, but long times, long days are not easily covered by this system. So this flexibility can help, you know, suiting the individual needs that the female researchers do have. And the empowerment it brings about by addressing gendered career challenges is something I also want to point out, because it is not only creating visibility of these highly qualified, really excellent researcher women, but also to have them, I don't know how to say it. It's almost like they also sometimes need to recognize it for themselves, how excellent they are, in order to have, you know, the attitude, the knowledge, the self-esteem to move on also in the areas in the science system, which can be quite competing too. And yeah, lastly, I'm very proud to be working with this program because it really has a high credibility in the science system and a legitimacy. We have a 20-year partnership here in Germany. It's a very esteemed prize backed by UNESCO, by L'Oréal, and the German Humboldt Network. So that's why I'm always happy to promote it. Thank you for your attention. I'm happy for any questions.
Thank you very much, Fatma. That was a great way to just like show and share with us different information about the scholarship or the award. I think it's really very prestigious. I find it funny. I knew someone who's on the picture back then. Yeah.
Really?
So yeah, look Scheiter. But yes, thank you very much. And I think there are also different awards that also are from L'Oréal that also fund international researchers also when they're still abroad. There are different types of fundings, if I remember correctly. So I would definitely encourage everyone from our attendees to check the websites, take a closer look, and see what fits to your profile. But I read many are already in Germany, so maybe this one would be the one you just showed and shared would be relevant for a couple of our audiences for sure. Perfect. I think we can go to the questions in the Q&A session. So thank you for now, and we will have you again back with us. And now I'd like to invite Lynn to open open her camera and give her the floor. She will share a little bit about her insights and her experience in Germany as a female researcher. Linda, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Inji. This is my pleasure to be here and try to share my story of how you can do a research career in Germany. So with this, I will also try to share my screen. I think you should
Yes.
see it now.
Perfect. Very well.
Mhm. And yes, I will start basically with a very brief introduction. And now, oh yeah, now it's gone. So this is just basically my short CV. I did my master's and PhD in Denmark, where I'm also originally from. I did it at Aarhus University in catalysis. Then that's when I moved to Germany. I came to Technical University of Munich on a Danish fellowship by the Carlsberg Foundation. And here I worked on photochemistry. I then in 2020 could start my independent career at the University of Münster, where now I work with photochemistry as well, but in water-based systems, in micelles in particular. And I want to say a few things about such a CV because it can feel very intimidating. CVs are really success stories, so this is everything that actually worked. No one puts in their CV what did not work, which is actually most of the things one applied for. Failure is and will be probably always a part of a researcher's pathway, both in the lab work, but also actually when applying for funding and when trying to establish the independent career. This is more or less my current, let's say, success rate for funding applications. And as you can see, I don't get every funding application through either. So I encourage you to really stay persistent and keep trying. Don't give up after the first time. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about why I chose Germany. And the main reason was that I was really interested in learning about photochemistry. And there happened to be a pioneer in photochemistry at the Technical University of Munich. So this is why I came to Germany. Germany has a really rich history in science and technology, as you could hear before. It has really, in most institutions and universities, an excellent infrastructure. It's also quite willing to fund fundamental research, not only applied research. And I find this essential when you want to build your own new research direction. Then it often starts from fundamental research and may later reach into applied research. The reason I then ended up staying in Germany was actually because I could get a really early stage. I could get a funding which allowed for my complete independence. And I think it's something special for Germany that you can reach full independence at a really early career stage. The challenges that I mainly faced in my career path, as we also saw in many comments, is they are definitely related to combining family life and my academic career path. Nobody basically takes over when you are out of office or maybe the kids are ill or you are giving birth or whatnot. There's really no one that can take over for your job. And I find that high performance is often almost always expected, regardless of your personal situation. The many networking sessions take place after the hours where I've already picked up my children from the childcare institution. And this is definitely, I think, a disadvantage. Also, traveling is very difficult with small children. But I would like to highlight that although it seems very challenging, it is very possible. And here I show my research group. This is actually my very first PhD student that graduated. And this next to us is my young daughter who was still a baby. And yeah, so I think it's possible, but it can be a challenge in the everyday life. The lessons I've learned is to really look for my own path, especially if you don't have a lot of role models or people you can mirror yourself in, then you have to create your own pathway. Listen to yourself and your values, be true to them and to what you believe in. Also be persistent, because it may not always work in the first try, but really keep up keep trying. And I also really advise to look for long-term progress, because it's very rare that something uniquely fantastic happens overnight. So don't look at last week or yesterday, look at last year. So I would advise this. And that's actually all I wanted to share in my short presentation. And I'm really excited for this discussion, and I hope that a lot of the attendees can find a way to mirror themselves in my story.
Thank you, Lynn. That's very, very inspiring. I think so. You put all the important things together with what are the real life challenges. Sometimes, I think maybe, or hopefully, most of the researchers here, or the researchers to be, see themselves in the situation and say, okay, there are challenges, but it's still possible, and there are different ways how to maneuver and find the right way to get to that. And just to dig a little deeper into what you've been through, we prepared a couple of questions that we'd like to go through. First of all, as a team leader, how do you coordinate the tasks and the team communication?
Yes, so I prefer in-person communication, but since let's say my role as a mother doesn't always allow this, then I take whatever means I can get, phone calls, video calls, everything that works in the situation. I've had many scientific discussions on the phone while walking my daughter in the stroller. So I think be creative and find ways to have sufficient communication, because I believe communication is truly essential with your team.
I can imagine, because only that you can really move forward as a team. I found the picture very very funny. Like, this is really this work-life balance in a way, having your child on one side and the team on the other, and trying to link them both worlds together in a way. Okay, but what challenges have you faced in the role as a team leader, and what aspects do you enjoy the most when it comes to that?
As I mentioned, the most of the challenges were truly associated with balancing the children and my personal family life, at least in the way that I want to be a mother, which is time consuming, and the way that I want to lead my team. So this is both of them pretty much a full-time job, and somehow you have sometimes to make priorities. And what I enjoy the most is working with my team. So when we together, we are excited about the topics, we create new information, and we do cutting edge research. So this is cool, and being able to enjoy it with them and celebrate their victories is really my privilege.
Very nice. Is it an international multicultural team, or how is the constellation, if I may ask?
Of course, so I have two group members from China, one from India, one from Turkey, and two from Germany.
Wow, so you've covered half the world in one team. That's terrific. I can imagine that can be very inspiring. Also, the cultural differences within a team. This is what do you like most about that, if I may ask?
I apologize. I actually forgot I have one from Japan as well.
Ah, okay. So like
Oh,
the
don't
Eastern
want forgetting
Hemisphere is
anyone.
well covered.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right.
Very nice. How is it? How is it for you, working with such an international team?
It's amazing. So I believe we need diversity, we need different perspectives, and we need representation. So that makes research stronger. And yeah, our communication is the key to achieving the progress together.
Very nice. I think it's sometimes very inspiring to know that the teams are intercultural and really diverse, because some also from the audience say, I don't have a chance, I won't make it. But again, just sharing this and having such a international team shows that it is possible and people make it and come and do research in Germany. Nice. My last question in this round would be, you mentioned failure as part of the path. How do you cope with failed strategies and projects, and how can we turn them into new opportunities from your perspective?
I think failures have to be accepted. Their presence is okay. They are just part of the path when you are a researcher. What is important is how we deal with them. So we have to take every information we learn from the failed attempts and try to improve. So the key is to never give up and then try to improve with every hint you get. So every opportunity you get for feedback. For example, large funding schemes, they often offer feedback or interview practices. For large grants, this is an option, and take it. So any feedback you can, even though you don't get it, you can use it to improve your chances next time. And I think we cannot expect not to fail. If we, for example, look at the statistics for an ERC starting grant, I think this year it's calculated to be 8 to 10%. I cannot expect from myself to get this just like that, but I can expect from myself to try my best and to improve for next rounds.
Very, very wise advice. I have to say, I found it incredibly true or revealing that in the CV you only see the successes, but it comes with so many failures during one's path, and really learning by them and seeing how can I do better and not to get demotivated. I think we had last month, a scholar who was sharing with us. She sent over, I don't know, 80 emails to find a supervisor, and she got 4 replies, and that was already a very important thing. So it comes with lots of challenges, and not giving up, being persistent. I think these were really a great lesson learned that you shared with us a couple of moments ago. So for now, thank you, Lynn, and you'll be joining us in the Q&A session. And again, here on that point, feel free to write your questions in the Q&A box, and we will get to them later. Thank you, Lynn. And
Thank you.
perfect. And now I'd like to invite Rana to join us. Yes,
Hi, Angie.
perfect. Hi.
Thank you.
Good to see you. And the floor is yours. You can also start sharing your screen. I'll stay with you just to make sure everything is functioning.
Okay, let's try to share it. Okay.
Yes. Perfect. Yes, we can see it terrifically.
Okay, good. First, I would like to thank all of you, and thank you, Angie and Fatima and Lena, for these nice talks. Actually, I enjoyed. So hello everyone. I would like also to thank the audience and who is attending this meeting. So my name is Rana and I'm a structural biologist and junior research group leader at Goethe University Frankfurt. Today I would like to briefly share with you my journey from studying in Egypt to building a research career in Germany, and reflect on some of the challenges, opportunities, and lessons that I have learned along the way. So my scientific journey has been strongly shaped by international mobility. First, I completed my bachelor degree in biochemistry in Egypt. And later I received a scholarship to pursue my master degree in bioscience at CALS in Saudi Arabia. At the end of my master degree, I was awarded an Erasmus Mundus scholarship, which has allowed me to move to Germany and later to start my PhD studies at Humboldt University in Berlin. So during this time, particularly during my PhD and my postdoc, I got a very nice chances to collaborate with many international research groups. That's also give me opportunity to carry out several research visits and work closely with our collaborators at Berkeley Lab in United States, which has significantly shaped my research perspective. So all this experience that has been built during this time helped me a lot to develop my research profile and eventually led to my current position in Frankfurt, where my research group focused in studying the structure and dynamics of photosynthetic membrane proteins. So looking back, I realized that several factors like mobility, supportive mentorship, and access to international network played a crucial role in shaping my career path. So of course, this journey also comes with several challenges, starting first with transition and mobility. So moving between countries, which is having big differences, it means that you need to adapt scientifically, and also culturally, and you need to start rebuild new network in both level, professionally and also socially. Language was a very big barrier and also important lesson for me. Another important aspect also is to find a good and supportive mentor. And you have at the end to keep navigate and investigate what is the best working environment that fits you the most. Another challenge also, which is a global one, I consider, like many of research now is facing it, which is the structural uncertainty in academia, which is including having short-term contracts, competitive funding environments, especially these days, and pressure to publish and secure grants. The last point is like for people who are having a family and the children, so you have always to find the balance between research responsibilities and parenting, especially that we are working abroad and you are alone without any support from your family. And that's here that you need to be within a supportive institutional structure. The good thing that many universities in Germany now are increasingly aware of this challenge and trying to offer childcare support. I personally benefit from this during my time in Berlin. But still, as Angie and Lena highlighted, also the demand is so high for the childcare places. And to be able to travel to the conference or doing research visits can be very, very challenging, especially with the school structure. So all of these challenges are real, but it's also it is possible, and also highlight the importance to be surrounded with a very strong supportive network. So a major turning point in my career was actually receiving support from several programs that supporting early career researcher and particularly women in science. And I would like to give you some of real example. So during my PhD, I benefited from 1 year extension through the Carolina von Humboldt Fellowship at Humboldt University. And last year, I also benefit from programs such as GRADE at Goethe University, and from dedicated family support funding, which is actually it was a generous funding to cover hiring like technical assistant, which is releasing a lot of stress on me last year during establishing the lab. More recently, also, as Angie and Fatima said, we received the L'Oréal UNESCO for Women in Science Award, which is, I consider it another important milestone. So all of these programs the providing generous funding, but also more than the financial support, they also increase visibility, create networks, and strengthen credibility within the scientific community, which is very important when you start applying for big funds or big grants. At the same time, also the German research system places a strong focus on early career promotion. So in my case, I was able to transition from a postdoctoral position to leading my own research groups only within 2 years from getting my PhD, which is relatively fast in comparison to other countries. Funding programs such as that Angie presented, like the DFK or even the ERC, they create a clear pathways toward independence. And almost, I would like to say many universities, but I think every university provide dedicated offices that support researchers in preparing this competitive grant application. So together, this opportunity is actually helping early career scientists to take the next step toward scientific independence. So I would like also to conclude with a few lessons that I have learned along the way. So one of them is like, please invest in learning language. In the beginning, I was strongly resisting that because I thought like working in science in English would be enough. But later I realized that I was completely wrong. And language was very important, not only about communication, but it's like it gives you a chance to better integrating, building trust, and becoming part of the community. Another also important point, like seek mentors who supporting your growth. Start to build visibility through building good networks, collaboration, going for international conferences. And finally, remember that scientific career is rarely linear, but yeah, every step counts and every step shows who you are become. So by that, I would like to thank you for your attention, and I'm happy also to take any question.
Thank you very much, Rana, for this brief introduction. I think it's the linear thing I adore, because there are ups and downs. There are so many things that get into
Yes,
the
yes,
way,
yes.
and you're facing with surprises. Some are good surprises, some are not very good surprises, and trying to maneuver and get through that, as well as this networking and this kind of visibility in how you can like present yourself, be a well-known established researcher in order to foster or generate collaboration when it comes to different areas and different parts. So speaking of networks, you're part of the network GESR, German Egyptian Social and Scientific Relationships. Please tell us more about this network and its successes.
Okay, this actually it is a non-profit association that is our colleagues established in 2020. It's like almost from 6 years in Monster, and it's like we thought like to act as a bridge between Germany and Egypt, supporting scientific, social, and cultural cooperation. It have a strong focus on scientific and medical section. So we're trying to organizing seminars, webinars, also mentoring activities, training programs that is like help students and young researchers to learn about opportunity in Germany and connect with scientists working here. So for me personally, being part of this network was important because like I would like also to give back to my home country, and it's also allowing me to build connection between two scientific communities to be able to support young researchers who would like to interested to come to Germany and also starting their postgraduates here in Germany.
Yes, I think sometimes it's like a completely different world and you know nobody, and it's always nice to kind of
Exactly.
connect. Yeah. Yes, very nice. I think this is, and giving back, I think this is also something that, because sometimes someone is in that situation where you need support and you don't have it, and you think, ah, I would have loved to get a little bit of insights or support when it comes to that topic before I came, like for instance, the language challenge, because yes, most of the this the talks or the projects or the research group can have English as the main language, but when it comes to a bigger thing or a bigger part of it, like connecting with others in other fields or getting it more integrated into society, it is for sure a challenge or a plus when you know a bit of German. How is your German level, if I may ask?
Actually, it's okay. Now it's not bad. It's like improving to B1 level.
Oh,
But I
cool.
have to say that like I should improve it to be really much better than that. I'm not happy about that. I'm what yeah, I think that like I resisting a lot learning German. So think that like as I said, it's enough to be in English, but it's completely wrong. So now also I see like a lot of bachelor program is done in German, and they have to teach you in German. Also, some of the meeting for the faculty done in German. So I feel bad that I think now I'm not really improved to the level that's make me fit to do this stuff. So I have if someone could let me know this information from the beginning, it will be actually a game changer for me in this particular point.
Never late to
Yeah,
learn.
that's true. There's also let me
Yeah.
say that also some
Yeah.
programs like what's offered by the DAD that's extremely valuable because they often offer scholarship, but also they offer in the beginning language support during the first couple of months. And
Precisely.
I could see really a big difference now between the students who got these chances, like in the beginning, to invest only in learning the language before they start, and between people who come directly to do research. But of course, all of the universities here in Germany, they offer also
Language
language course.
programs.
So I have no excuse, I have to say, but
It will
I
come.
have to do it. Yes.
Yes, I think language is a big topic. Maybe we can tackle that in the Q&A for sure. I would just like to ask about the Humboldt Fellowship that you received.
Yes.
Do you have recommendations for the application process to our attendees?
Okay, first I would like to highlight that the Carolina von Humboldt program that you refer to is including several funding lines. So one of them
Mhm.
is a completion scholarship that I got, and they have also another line which is International Research Award, which is covering from 6 months to 1 year research visit abroad. And also they have the Carolina von Humboldt Prize. So each supporting a researcher at different career stages. So my main recommendation for applicants, especially for the completion scholarship, is to clearly communicate the significance of your research, and also the future of of your scientific vision, which is actually Fatma highlighted this point. So it's important to write clearly what you would like or how you would like yeah, how you see your work in the future will be like what, or you would like to stay in the academia and in which topic, something like that. And of course you need to seek feedback from your mentor and support of also from them, because they need to support you with an excellent recommendation later.
Yes, so building connections and winning winning over professors, that's
Exactly,
important
yeah.
point. Yes,
There's
for
also
sure.
another point, if there is time, to highlight it also, that Carolina von Humboldt is something specific to Humboldt University, but also in each university in Germany, they now have like different programs dedicated to support women in science and early career researcher. So this initiative usually is supporting or providing mentoring, funding opportunities, and professional development plan. So it's like encourage that everyone ask in his own his own university and ask about which program they offer to support them.
Yes, I think a key is getting in touch with the international office, for instance, or they're usually like offices for funding that try to get third-party funding. And sometimes they have different tips or know how to do the formalities for different kinds of applications, and they support when it comes to that. Yes, that's a definitely a valuable tip. But also speaking of tips, what are the challenges of balancing research-related opportunities, such as travel, with the lack of childcare options in Germany? Do you have tips to that?
Okay, so it's like Elena nicely highlighted this. Look, in academic work, we often have involve long working hours, traveling to conference. So we need to also to do research visits, which is challenging when it's combined with parenting responsibilities. But again, there is some positive development in Germany, at least. Like, for example, many schools offer after-school programs, which is where children can stay until 5 p.m. and sometimes later. Universities now often also provide childcare service. Here in Gotha, also they have a program that support additional childcare during outside the regular timing, the regular working hours. There is also grant that's allowing hiring research assistants to help maintain the project continuity if you are having difficulties or have a shortened time. For my personal experience, actually, the many challenging start when my son entered the school. Before that, actually, everything was moving. A lot of a challenge also, but it's possible. But now the situation is a little bit difficult, especially if I would like to go to conference or international visits. So the main in this situation, I think, supportive from friends can make a big difference, and highlighting also that some grants like L'Oréal that's offering flexible funding that we can use also to get support either from professional service or sometimes my parents come to help me in something like that. But yeah, this is highlights the importance of actually flexible funding. So this is a real bonus from something like L'Oréal.
For sure, this is not something, especially it's not something common. It's a really great opportunity to see how can you use the funding that you have in a way that supports you as a scientist the best way possible, and for you to also achieve what you'd like to go through. Perfect. Thank you very much, Rana, for this insight. And here on this, on my behalf, I'd like also to thank Fatma and Lynn. And I think we've received lots of different inputs and already raised so many questions during the talks. So please keep in mind that you can use the Q&A box and write your questions there. And also write the names if you're addressing your questions to one of our specific speaker. And now I would like to ask our dear speakers to open their cameras and come back again, and we would start with the Q&A session. And perfect. Yes, and I see Dr. Müller, schön that you're also with us. And yeah, so let's take a look at the Q&A box. But before we start, because we are speaking on tips, maybe Fatma, Dr. Müller, you would like to share with us like common mistakes that you see during application and perhaps how to avoid them, because I think this is sometimes a good insight. Sorry for putting you on the spot, but perhaps you have the one or the other other tip.
I wouldn't. Hello, everyone. First of all, because I have not spoken before, I'm Lutz Müller of the German Commission for UNESCO, colleague of Fatma as well. Not really a mistake, but something which I think it has turned out very frequently as has led to a lot of questions in the application process. That was how I have been the mother of 3 children. I have interrupted my research career twice, and then I returned. Am I still eligible as a candidate for the awards, although I'm already older than what you originally foreseen? So we try to, of course, I think this is a question that especially women scientists face a lot, like a lot of other women that have other forms of careers. You have a lot of interruptions, you have partial time, you have to work partial time, you have to move to another place, you have to arrange flexibility. We try to accommodate as much as possible in this award. But after all, it's not a social award. It's an award for scientific excellence. It's something with this award we want to push excellent young women to the next level. So yes, we want to specifically support women and mothers, young mothers as well, because we understand that this is specifically in Germany often a large obstacle to a career, but it cannot be an excuse after all. You have to be excellent after all, because without Line and Rana have told us your story, you have struggled, but all scientists at one stage or the other struggle in their career. So also men struggle. They struggle differently. They have maybe less obstacles, but all of us, if we are successful in research, we have to overcome obstacles. And you have done that, and all successful candidates have to do that.
Yes, Fatma, would you like to add this to
Actually,
that?
not like to add anything substantial. What first came to my mind was really to not applying would be the biggest mistake. To, you know, refraining from explaining what you're aiming at, explaining what you already have achieved, and just doing it, because this is really the self being an obstacle to yourself. So
Hesitation, yeah.
if you I mean, you don't have to evaluate your work. If you're there where you are, then you have come a long way, and there is a jury that will do the evaluation. You just give them the chance to do it. That's what I would say.
That's a very wise advice, because if you don't try, you won't get it. So it's and trying once or maybe twice or maybe thrice.
It's possible also
It's
in this
possible.
program.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Fatma. I'll give give to Jana. I think she has prepared also a question from the Q&A box.
Yes, thank you very much for all of you for your very insightful inputs. I have taken a look at the chat and the Q&A box to collect some questions. And I have found two that kind of relate to what Mr. Möller and Dr. Rebecca Gehani have just mentioned. Someone in the chat was asking or explaining how they were struggling to find opportunities. And another person directed a question at Rana regarding the importance of securing a mentor. And I was wondering if you maybe have more inputs or tips to find opportunities, to find mentors and people that could open up doors for you.
Okay, actually for this point, I was trying to highlight, like, it's not only any mentor, but you have to seek the supportive mentor that it fits you, that you like you're supporting you in your career path. And for this, like, we always, like, as a group leader, I always seek excellent students, and also the students have the right and encouraged to ask about also their potential PIs. So we always encourage them to contact their current group members and also former group members, and to navigate what is if this lab is fits you or not. Also in the beginning, so try to take your time. So some program actually like offer kind of rotation, so take your time and decide if this lab is fit you or not. So I see now also I get a lot of random emails, like a lot of people would like to do my PhD in my lab, but I feel like from their emails, they didn't read a lot about also my research, about the research that we are doing. They only, I can easily from their email know that they are just send a random email. So take your time, also read carefully about the work, and you need to show in the email that you know details, you are keen to do research in this particular point. So I think this is the main tips for you.
I think alone the email is like a mini interview indirectly that shows what kind of research has been done before someone contacted you or addressed you via email. I think this is also like one of the main challenges on how to address professors and how to find mentors in Germany. I can imagine you receiving hundreds of emails with requests joining your teams. And maybe also I can imagine a tip would be like really writing the value added for you. It should be a win-win situation, and trying to highlight that can like give the person a better chances for you to continue reading the email on the first hand, next to many others that you receive. I see Lynn is also shaking her head. I can imagine. Do you have a couple of tips, Lynn, how you handle or maneuver something like that?
I think regarding the email you mean, so I think Rana touched some really important points. It also shouldn't, I would advise, like, it's really good to add a couple of details concisely that show that you're interested in the work, but not a very, very long email also. A fine balance maybe is key, and to be concise, I think, is really good, and to show motivation. I think I really almost highly on motivation, yeah. So not only, but this is for me a very important part, and also maybe let's say the ability to think independently, to be not only motivated but to show some considerations what a topic may look like, like something like that would be also catching me for sure. Yeah.
It has to be noticeable. Yes. Perfect. I'll give back to Jana.
Thank you very much. Another question was that, what is your ultimate tip to young female researchers aiming to come to Germany? This can be answered by both of you, Anna and Lena.
And also the UNESCO. I think that fits to all speakers in that moment. Yeah.
I would think, after also having followed the conversation today, is really to make informed choices on where you are aiming at and why, and not to be discouraged too easily after knowing the success rates of very successful persons here. And maybe most important is to follow the curiosity, because that was something that I have seen in all the award winners, that what they were so excited about what they're doing. So if you know why you're doing, or why you want to do what you're doing, follow this, because this will open the doors for you, with the basis of making informed choices and, having the courage, of course, and the persistence. But don't forget this essence and this momentum.
Thank you very much. Maybe for Anna and Lena, do you maybe have something to add? What is important to know when you want to bring your family, your children, when you're considering doing a PhD or your research in Germany?
So it depends, I guess, on the age of the children. But if you like something like childcare, kitas, apply early. This cannot be early enough. So really keep an eye out for deadlines. You need to be extremely structured, and don't only apply in one place, like apply a lot and show up. In Germany, it's extremely important when you want to get a kita spot or a childcare opportunity to show up for open house, to show how interested you are in this particular kita. Such things, I think it's extremely important. So I think childcare is essential for being able to go to work. And therefore, at least for me, I can only talk about the small children yet. So this would be my tip.
I don't know if I have something to add, but yes, it's also my child is raised here, so it's like we need to apply in a lot of places for Kita until we find one related to the university at the end. But it was great, great place. For the school, if the children is a little bit older, I think this situation is much better because like you definitely will have a place for the school quickly, so you will not it will be the very short very short gap, but of course the language could be the main challenging, but also again the system here is also providing a lot of support even for the people who come a little bit older to give them like integration 1 year integration class to give them 1 year studying German, and after that they could join their colleagues in the normal class term. So I think it's like I'm encouraging everyone would like to come to complete to continue their studies in Germany. So Germany actually is one of the places that provides excellent work-life balance in comparison to other countries, which is doing also excellent science. So the place here is really supporting that a lot. Of course, there is many challenging still, but they are improving the system a lot.
If I may add, because I think you also mentioned that the DAD offers usually scholarships, or part of the scholarship is also for bringing your family with you. So this is somehow kind of a financial support when it comes to that. And if you're planning to move as a whole family to Germany to conduct your research with scholarships or grants, take a look at the extra benefits that are there. There are some with family allowances, there are some without. So I would definitely encourage you to check the database for the different types of funding and awards. Also, if you have specific universities in mind or research institutions, take a look at what other benefits they offer, because most of the universities now, they really take a look at how to support women not only in science but women in general, that in academia, and try to find for them solutions and ways, and multiple ways for support. Yes, so don't hesitate in contacting them. There are always also representatives, women representatives in the different sectors that you can also contact if you're facing any challenges. So the whole system is trying as much as possible to support. Of course, it comes short in some areas, but at the end of the day, it's still for sure one of the focuses and focus points at universities and research institutions. So on that note, I would like to thank you all, dear speakers, for being with us today, for taking the time. I will share my screen one last time. Whoops. Yes, and we're very happy that you joined us, and we hope that the questions have been inspiring for you, and the tips. And feel free to contact us. We will get in contact with the speakers and make sure everyone is okay to share the contacts. And if yes, you will find them in the presentation that we are going to share online, as well as the recording by mid next week. And before we let you go, everyone, we would like to do a final survey in order to improve our sessions and try to make it as fitting as possible for you. So I'll open it for you now as a poll, and you can write and fill out your opinions. And again, don't forget to follow us and stay in contact and join us in more such lively, natural, unfiltered experiences from our speakers and our testimonials. So again, on this note, thank you very much, everyone, and yeah, have a beautiful day or evening or night wherever you are, and stay tuned with our upcoming events. Thank you very much. Yes, I think the poll has started, so feel free to give us your opinions. Okay, I think we will let it run. But on that note, again, dear speakers, thank you for making this event happen. It's always a pleasure, and we hope to see you in other constellations and in future events that we organize. And wishing you also a great evening. And yeah, evening, everyone here in this round is in Germany at the moment. Yes, a great evening. And yeah, schönen Feierabend, as we say it here in Germany. Thank you very much, and have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rana
Thank
and
you.
Line.
Bye.
Thank you, Rana and Line.